Hi, my name is Kelly and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a yoga teacher here in Bristol in the UK, and on my channel you'll find lots of different yoga classes, some Hatha yoga, some Vinyasa, some Yin yoga, and hopefully also some yoga Nidra, which I will be adding to soon in the near future. I am quite an active person, so on my channel you'll also find a few videos from a few long distance bike trips that I did with my partner Michael, so you will find those as well. I do really like endurance activities, so I will also try and add some yoga sequences for runners and also for cyclists, especially for cycle tourists, because that's what I was for a very long period of time, so it's something quite passionate to me. So I thought I would share some of my favourite yoga poses, and if you like you can join me in some of these poses. I recommend practicing these poses when the body is nice and warm, so if you have just woken up maybe you'd like to just do a little warm up before moving into these poses. So we'll start in an all fours position, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. I'll take a couple of cat-cows, so dropping the belly down, lifting the gaze. And exhale, dropping the head, pull the navel towards the spine. And then we just move with our breath. Inhale to come up. Exhale to round through the spine. So these cat-cows I think are great because they really start to build mobility in the spine and just gets a little bit of heat moving in between the vertebrae. We'll just do one more. So inhale to come up. Exhale, navel to spine, round down. And an inhale, come to a neutral spine. So next we'll move into a pose called thread the needle. So bring your left hand so it's in front of your face. On the inhale, just reach the right arm up. And exhale, thread that arm under the left arm, making your way down to the side of the face and the shoulder. You can stay here or send the left arm out in front. Or maybe even reaching that arm up so the fingertips are facing towards the ceiling. Or begin to rotate the palms that's facing the opposite side of the room. Then bend at the elbow and just see if you can grip maybe the side of your t-shirt or your hip crease. So I get quite a tight neck and shoulder, and I just find that this pose really gets into those kind of problem areas for me. And when you're ready to come out of it, just slowly unwind, making your way out the same way you came in, and pushing into the hand, reaching that hand back up towards the ceiling. And then taking it to the other side, so this time the right hand comes in front of the face. On the inhale, just reaching the left arm up. And then exhale, threading that arm under the right arm and coming down onto the side of the face and the shoulder. Maybe sending that arm out in front. Maybe reaching the right arm up, fingertips up. Or rotating the hand to face the opposite side of the room, bending at the elbow and just seeing if you can tuck your fingers into the hip crease. And when you're ready to come out, slowly making your way out the same way you came in. Reaching that left arm back up, and exhale to bring that hand back down. So the next pose is a stretch for the feet. I get quite tight feet I do a lot of running, and I find that the bottoms of my feet really do feel it sometimes. So this is a toe pose, and if you just take with your hand, take all the fingers and make sure that every single sorry, all the fingers, all the toes. Make sure every single toe is just on the floor, even the pinky toe. And then just bring your weight back. This can be quite intense for some people, so you might just stay here, or you can just come forward and bring the weight forward a little bit. And then while we're here in this toe pose, I usually like to do a few like wrist stretches. So maybe just interlacing the fingers and just making a few waves with the hands. Or you can bring the palms together and just roll through the wrists one way and the opposite way. And then releasing the hands. I do like to hold this one for quite some time, but it can get a little bit intense. Come back into your all fours position. You'll just tap out the feet. And I feel like you can't do toes pose without doing an ankle stretch. So for me, a really good ankle stretch is just keep it on the tops of the feet, walking the hands back. You might just want to stay here. I never used to be able to do just this pose here. Or you can walk the hands back further. Maybe lift the knees off the ground. This is a really good stretch for the fronts of the ankles. So again, for me, I get really tight in these areas. And I never used to be able to do this. This took me a very long time to be able to get into this pose. And slowly making your way back up, and back into that all fours position. You're lifting the ankles and just taking a few rolls in one direction and the opposite direction. Great. So the next pose which I'm going to do, which is actually one of my favourites. Again, this is a pose that I used to absolutely hate, and it wasn't until I did my yoga teacher's training course that I actually decided I really like this pose. So it builds a lot of strength in the whole body, and it's also a really good stretch for the backs of the legs and the hamstrings. I have particularly tight hamstrings. That might be the reason why I like this pose so much. And I like to get in this pose from an all fours position, just getting my alignment ready. So shoulders stacked over the wrist, tuck in the toes, start to push into the hands, push the index finger down, start to grip the floor so you can feel the whole hand on the floor. And then pull the navel in to lift the knees, and then continue to lift the hips up and back. So arriving in downwards dog, just taking any movements that you might like here. So when we're in this pose, it's important to continue to just push through the whole hand so we're not dumping weight into the wrists. Then you can try and keep the back nice and straight, maybe have a bit of a bend in the knees, which is perfectly fine. I kind of go in between depending on what I feel like that day. And then just making sure you really broaden through the back. You can even slowly or gently or just rock the head out, release any tension in the neck. So from downwards dog, I like to move into this next pose by lifting the left leg up and then just bringing the knee in towards my nose, or rather the left elbow, and then drop the knee down so it's behind the left wrist. And I'm quite tight in the hips, so my leg tends to be angled in about 45 degrees, but my ankle is roughly behind my right wrist. Coming onto the top of the back foot. So this is our pigeon pose. And with the back leg nice and straight, you want to try and keep your hips even, so you'll notice that I have quite a bit of space here, which is fine as long as you're not just falling over a little bit. You want to keep the hips nice and straight. Maybe grab a block, just prop yourself up. And then there's two options here, to come onto the fingertips. And then you can start to walk the hands forwards, make a little pillow with the hands and just resting the head down. find with this pose, different people feel the stretch in different places. Some people can't, or they feel very challenged in this pose to the point they might feel pain, and if you feel any pain, just come out of it. There are other options that you can take instead of this pose. For me, I like this pose. I get a really good stretch in the outer hip. Some people might find that it's more of a hip opener, and some people just don't feel anything at all in this pose, so everyone is completely different. If this isn't working for you, you can take reclined pigeon, which I'll quickly just show you now, and onto the back, and then just crossing the left ankle over the right, either staying here or just threading the hands around the thigh or the shin. Keeping these toes pointing towards the knee, and you just push out with that left thigh. So for me, I'm stretching the exact same muscles in this pose or in our sleeping pigeon pose. And then walking the hands back up, tucking the back toes, push into the hands, lifting that leg back up into three-legged dog, and then just walking the feet out. And then we'll take it on the other side, so lifting that right leg up, rounding forward, and just coming into the pose on the opposite side. I always like to walk the foot back a little bit, straighten out that leg, maybe propping a block under the hip. So in yin we call this swan pose, and in Hatha yoga it's pigeon. I'm not sure, it's got other names and different other types of yoga as well. And just slowly walking the hands back up, pushing into the palms, lifting that leg up and back for three-legged dog, and then back to downwards dog. So that's just a few of my favourite poses in yoga. If you want to try out any more sequences, then I've got quite a few on my channel at the moment, and I will I will be adding a new class every Wednesday as well as ad hoc classes when I get around to it. So I hope you enjoyed the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line and enjoy. Thank you. Namaste.